Gastronomy is the art of selecting, preparing, serving, and enjoying fine food. It is grounded in relationships between food, culture, and tradition. Through the ages, gastronomy has proved to be a stronger cultural force among the peoples of the world than linguistic or other influences. Today, the world may be divided into definite gastronomic regions and areas where distinctive cuisines prevail and common culinary methods are practiced. France is internationally recognized for its gastronomy and way of life. Since 2010, the French gastronomic meal and its rituals have been recognized as an intangible UNESCO cultural heritage. In France, the special attention is paid to the pleasures of the table, which can also be found in everyday life. The French people are very attached to the three-meal day. Traditionally, the breakfast is eaten in the morning, lunch at around noon, and dinner at around 8 p.m. The French people are proud of their gastronomy and culinary specialties. Modern French cooking draws inspiration from the many cooking concepts French chefs have developed and presented over centuries. A typical French breakfast consists of a croissant, or bread, with butter and jam, and sometimes a sweet pastry. Fresh fruit juice and hot beverages, like coffee or tea, are also included. The croissant is a French pastry that is typically crescent-shaped, which is the origin of its French name. This French pastry is made from a yeast-based dough, which is rolled and layered to incorporate butter. Because of the cost of butter, many bakers use cheaper substitutes, such as margarine, which means that most bakeries in France offer two types of it, croissant and croissant with butter. Golden, buttery croissants should be crisp and flaky on the outside, and soft and tender on the inside, with a texture that can be almost pulled apart. French people like to take coffee in the breakfast with a croissant. If you order un café in France, you will be served with a shot of espresso, which is the most standard and popular coffee drink you will find in France. French roast coffee is intense, smoky and bold in flavor. During the roasting process, the internal temperature of the coffee beans reaches a very high temperature of 240 degrees Celsius. A usual French lunch includes an appetizer, such as a mixed salad or soup, main course, which includes the choice of beef, pork, chicken, or fish, with potatoes, rice, pasta or vegetables, and cheese course from a local selection and a sweet. French people take bread very seriously. The French do indeed adore bread, and have developed a real cult of the baguette. Baguette is a long, thin, crusty loaf of French bread. Tens of millions of baguettes are made and eaten around the world every day, making the baguette one of the most popular breads. It is one of the preeminent symbols of French cuisine, and, as such, it is a major point of cultural pride and culinary identity for the French and Francophone countries. Baguettes are made from a relatively lean dough, and can be baked in large quantities. They are thus affordable for all. For this reason, some believe that baguettes were invented in response to the government's demand for a bread of equality. The components of a baguette are defined by law in France. They cannot include any ingredients beyond the traditional yeast, white flour, water, and salt. French baguettes are usually baked on-site in boulangeries in small batches. Bakers whisk together the water and yeast before forming the dough by adding flour and then salt. The dough is removed from the mixing bowl and then kneaded until it is smooth. Many bakers then place the dough in cloth-lined baskets while it rises, which prevents it from spreading out horizontally and losing its shape. Once the dough has rested long enough to double in size, it is removed and divided into pieces. Each baguette is shaped through a series of folds and rolling motions. The dough is then scored across the top with a blade to allow for a more even bake. Baguettes are placed in a hot oven until they form golden brown, crisp crusts. They usually weigh about 250 grams, are roughly 70 centimeters long, and are about 5 or 6 centimeters in diameter. France provides us with 1,000 different cheese varieties. There are more than 1,000 kinds of cheese in France. 96% of French people regularly eat cheese. They value its taste, its variety, and its authenticity. Cheese has always played a key role in French gastronomy. A food to enjoy, cheese is also a healthy product, as a source of many nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and trace elements including calcium, which contribute to a balanced diet. Hard and soft cheese, cow's milk cheese, goat's milk, or sheep's milk cheese, there is a huge range of choice. Camembert is perhaps the most iconic of French cheeses. Soft and creamy, Camembert comes from Normandy, the land of many cows. Most of the French people don't dine until at least 8 p.m., as prior to that, time is set aside for l'apéritif. The apéritif, familiarly called the apéro, is a real institution in France. It's a relaxed time, spent with the family, or friends, before dinner. It's the time to have a drink while nibbling on something tasty. The salade niçoise of France combines lettuce with potatoes, green beans, olives, tuna, tomatoes, and anchovies, all dressed with olive oil and vinegar. The simplest salad dressings are mixtures of oil and vinegar. To this is added salt and pepper, herbs, and frequently Dijon mustard. French onion soup is traditionally made with yellow onions. After making its debut in the 18th century, this soup has become a national treasure. During ancient times, and still today, onions were cheap and easy to grow, and hence, readily available. French onion soup is the ultimate comfort food. Onions get slowly cooked until sweet and caramelized, then simmered in rich broth until they're practically falling apart. To finish it off, toasted bread is added to give it that lovable crisp gone soggy texture. Ratatouille is a seasonal vegetable stew of Provençal origin, comprising squash, tomatoes, and other garden vegetables and herbs. A classic ratatouille is composed of chopped or sliced vegetables that are sautéed in olive oil until lightly browned, so that they hold their form, then simmered in water on low heat and stirred from time to blend the flavors. Many summer vegetables take part in a ratatouille. Ratatouille is by its nature vegetarian. Macaron is a sweet, small, round French sandwich cookie, made from meringue, almond flour, sugar, and food coloring and adorned with a variety of fillings, including buttercream, chocolate ganache, marzipan, jam, and fruit compote. The macaron is an old, and very popular, French snack, but its origins lie elsewhere. The ancestor of the macaron is an almond cookie that was first made in Italy, in the late 1400s, and was widely baked in the monasteries of Venice for centuries. The cookie arrived in France in the early 16th century. Crème brûlée is a classic French dessert, consisting of a rich custard base, and topped with a contrasting layer of caramelized sugar. It is usually served cold, with a warm top. Because the sugar on top is caramelized, with a torch or in a broiler, it makes the top warm, while the main base cold. To eat, use the edge of your spoon to gently crack the hard sugar surface, and scoop up some custard. Be sure to get both the brittle topping and the creamy custard in each bite.